Okay, we're gonna do one here, and let's go way up there. Okay, so how you wanna do it? Thank you. I try not to die from the cuteness. Thomas Santalella, when it comes back to teach you, or you come back to learn how half alive you've been, joy is simple, unassuming. Red tulips on their green stems, vegetables bright in the pan, the primary colors of a child's painting, the first lessons all over again.
And from Valerie Kaur, maybe let joy in, for we will be someone's ancestors someday. If we do this right, they will inherit not our fear, but bravery born of joy.
Good morning and welcome. Good morning. Welcome to First Parish Church. My name is Marjorie Kimpton and I will be your worship leader today. My pronouns are she and her. Our family came to First Parish when our grandson Nate was in the 2nd grade because he was very concerned that he did not have a church affiliation. He is now midway through divinity school in Denver and will be participating in our Christmas services. Consider yourselves warned. We are a community seeking to deepen spiritually, to take care of one another, and to be a blessing to the world. Unitarian Universalism is a faith for all. So bring all of who you are, all of your beliefs, identities, abilities, challenges, and gifts. Bring all of what you have been and all of what you've done. There is room here for all of it. Our congregation includes a wide diversity of beliefs. I invite you to freely translate the language you hear today. If you're visiting for the first time today, whether here in person or online, we're really glad that you found us. If you would like more information, email us at welcome@uugroton.org. We are not concerned about noise during the service and hope you won't be either. We host virtual church on Zoom at 7 p.m. on Sunday evenings. All are welcome. And if you need the link, email us at welcome@uugroton.org. Special thanks today to Holly Estes, who's filming, and Jan Hadland, who is our cantor. The flowers today are given by Beth Sudemeyer and Kakashi and Livia Tara in celebration of Beth's milestone birthday and to express their gratitude to this beautiful community. We have many holiday services coming up. You are welcome at them all, and we hope you will invite family, friends, and especially anyone who may be struggling at this time of year. We still have some spots for ushers and greeters on Christmas Eve, and we need hosts to help with providing cookies and cider following both of the Christmas Eve services. If you can help, speak to Aaliyah or Lee after the service. Lee has a special announcement.
There is one service that I've just decided to add. It's not on your insert, but it'll be there next week. I don't know how many of you are familiar with the tradition of Blue Christmas services, but I'm going to offer a Blue Christmas service on Friday, December 23rd at 6 p.m. And I promise not to sing the Elvis Blue Christmas song, but it is going to be especially for holding the complex emotions that come up this time of year, especially welcoming for folks who might be grieving, who might feel at odds with the general merriment, and just for anybody like myself who kind of live in the bittersweet all the time. So it's a contemplative service. We'll speak of loss and grief and loneliness, as well as the rest of the season. There'll be candles and joy and silence and grief and poems and songs. Sort of a quiet service on that Friday night.
We have learned through the pandemic that our sanctuary is not this room or any place at all. Sanctuary is what we create together. Please come in and rest a while. You are so welcome here. Please take a second to wave to the camera and say hi to the virtual congregation. Let's stand as we are able and take a moment to greet each other.
Or good evening, or good afternoon, whenever you might be watching this. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Good morning.
Whoa. greet her. The three bells at the start of worship invite us to settle into our bodies more fully, to remind us that we are whole and we belong wholly upon this earth, and we are held in love. With each breath, I invite you to breathe in and breathe out. And in addition or instead, you might tighten your hands and open them, or close your eyes and open them, a small gesture of opening. Let us open our minds to remember the presence of the holy, which is all around us and within us. Open our mouths to speak words of tenderness and truth. Open our hearts to extend compassion to all in need of it, including ourselves. Open our hands to serve with gladness. Open our beings to the great joy which enfolds us and awaits us. So this first bell is for each one of you. And the second bell is for all of the ones you love. And the third bell is for our aching, beautiful world.
If you are with us remotely, I invite you to get a candle or chalice and light it as we light our common chalice in the meeting house. The idea of the flaming chalice grew from the Unitarian Service Committee's brave and dangerous work during the Second World War, helping to smuggle Jews and other persecuted people out of Europe. It is a symbol of trust and courage and resistance to oppression and tyranny. Rose Hendrickson will light the chalice this morning for the first time.
Hello, my name is Rose Hendrickson. I'm 12 years old and my pronouns are they, he, she. This chalice lighting is about saying no so you can leave space. My family has said no to a lot this year to help my dad and to help our family recover from some hard things. This has left space to connect and interact a lot more. We've gone on more walks together, played more board games, and together we've talked, more talks and teeny debates. When trying to decide what to do, you can always say no. It's okay to say no to everyone, even those who have power over you, like saying no to your parents, older siblings, and grandparents. When a sibling, friend, cousin, etc. tries to pressure or request you to do something and you don't want to do, you're allowed to say no. Or when an adult says something like, "Can you go take out the trash?" Or "Can we go finish math?" You're allowed to say, "Can I have like 5 more minutes to finish this thing I'm doing?" So they won't always say yes. You can still voice your need, and that might be enough. I said no to dance. I danced for 4 years. But then I started a competition, and then it just got stressful. And when I stopped, I left room for so many different joyful things. Now I can focus on different projects, such as drawing and focusing on nature. Those things have brought me immense joy. Being able to hyperfixate on nature opens my mind to more experiences and learn, and being in the woods has allowed me to feel more connected to Earth and to feel better about my skills and strength. Woods in the fog is more relaxing than people would expect. Woods in the snow makes me feel alive and very awake. When it's snowy in the woods, I want to look more. Woods in the spring is a vibrant feeling. Woods in the summer is a very alive place. This Wednesday, I got to see a lot of porcupine. It was really cool. I said no to my original gender. I was a girl for 10 years. Now I'm gender fluid. I feel like I don't have to dress or act a certain way now. As you can see, I cut my hair and dress a lot differently. I think I was really happy with who I was, but as humans do, I changed, and that person I used to be stopped making me happy. It took a bit, but now I think I found myself again. If I never said no, I wouldn't have ended up so cool. When we said no to people coming over for Christmas, we knew that it would be different, but we also know that it will be a better different. We like to sit together and chat about the recent events going on and ask each other questions about presents and what we like about our gifts. We listen to music, eat lots of cookies, and have an overall good day. Thank you.
Full body goosebumps. Jackson, are you here this morning? No, okay. Abby, when we get there, would you like to light the peace candle? Cool. My name is Lee Kinby. I'm your intern minister. My pronouns are they, them. On Sunday mornings now, we light a peace candle, and it reminds us that Ukraine is still at war, as are Myanmar, Syria, Libya, and there's violence in lots of places around the globe, including our country, of course. We light the peace candle to re-educate ourselves and to rededicate ourselves to peace in our own lives, in our families, and in our communities. So, Abby, would you come up and light the peace candle for us? Thank you. We can remain seated and join while we sing Carolyn McDade's song, Spirit of Life. We sing it first in Spanish and then in English. Don't forget what I told you last week. If you want a glimpse of joy, just take a very quiet look behind you during the music. Today we light 3 candles on the Advent wreath. The first is for hope, the second is for love, and today's candle is for joy. The Advent wreath is an ancient symbol, the circle
is for the cycle of the seasons, and the evergreen reminds us of steadfast life even through the season of winter. During Advent, we rest. We rest in luminous darkness, and we prepare ourselves for new life and for the birth of the baby who embodied the radical and inclusive love the world needed then and still needs now. I asked my beloved to light the Advent wreath today and to say a few words, because today is an anniversary for him, which he will tell you about himself.
Reading glasses. Today is a milestone for me. 10 years ago this week, I first set foot in this sanctuary. Nancy Burdine reminds me that she was the first person to greet me. So, thank you, Nancy. 3 weeks before that, I met with Aaliyah, Greg Baker, and Becky Pine to discuss helping First Parish develop a strategic plan. I was hornswoggled into doing that by Andrea Mason, who subsequently fled the Commonwealth and relocated in Albuquerque. She swears there was no connection. As I've explained many times before, marrying Aaliyah was never part of the strategic plan. You may recall that 10 years ago this week, 26 children and adults were murdered in Newtown. It shook me up. That Sunday, I needed to be in a spiritual place, so I got in my car and I drove here. I was raised in a conservative Jewish family. I went to Hebrew school, I was bar mitzvahed. Over the years, I became more of a cultural Jew. I moved to Concord in the late 1990s. My family had a lot of moving parts spiritually, so we spent a few years attending First Parish in Concord. It's a congregation steeped in history. Emerson and Thoreau were members there. They do things a little differently. For example, in Concord, everyone is actually in their seat at 10 o'clock. What's up with that? When I arrived here that morning, I settled in a pew and I relaxed. Sean was playing something beautiful. After a couple of minutes, I glanced at my watch. Okie dokie, I thought, time to get this show on the road. But Sean was on a roll. The music continued for 3 minutes, 4 minutes. Where am I wondered. I'm clearly not in Concord anymore. Do these people have any concept of time? I decided that perhaps it was my job to just relax. Sean played for 7 minutes. Not that I was keeping track. Right about 10 o'clock, Aaliyah rang the bowl. I looked around. It felt like there were about 7 of us in the pews. The next time I looked up, the sanctuary was full. For those of you who arrived fashionably late, just know that Aaliyah shares tomorrow's winning lottery number at 10:01. That morning, Aaliyah announced it was the 3rd week of Advent, the week of joy. She said it was hard to know what to do with that in the midst of all our grief. And then she said the words, "Out of darkness comes joy." I took a deep breath. I'm going to like it here, I thought. Aaliyah preached an extraordinary sermon that day. It was about acknowledging sorrow and somehow finding hope, looking for the small acts that can lead to joy. She told a story about her mother getting lost in a shopping mall because she was looking up at the night sky through a skylight, consumed by its beauty. Security guards ultimately rescued her and returned her to her children. I know. It's usually the security guard returning the children to the mother. For those of you who know Leah's mom, you can understand how this happened to you. Love you, Babette. This place is different. This place is extraordinary. It brings out the best in people. You can be your best self here. I've been a lot of places and never anywhere like this. Over the years, I've had the honor and the privilege to know some extraordinary people like George Downey, Jim Johnson, Bob Burkhart, Sal Lombardi, Shirley Mann, Kathy Gilson. There are so many more of you sitting in the pews. If I mentioned you all, we'd be here till noon. That's a problem, right? I'm lighting the candle for all of you, for the third week of Advent, for joy. You have enriched my life beyond anything I could have ever imagined. I'm a very lucky guy. Don't take this place and these people for granted. In this season of being thankful, take some time to appreciate what you have here. It's a gift and it's a joy.
So please remain seated and let's sing together 3 verses of O Come, Emmanuel. The words are in your order of service, and we are adding a verse for each week of Advent.
Come on up here.
Actually, today we're gonna, we need this space right here, so come sit right here, but maybe not forward
Hi,
enough.
Amelia. How are you? You got a reindeer. Hi, Zoe and Coraline and Max and Zoe and Kalani.
You want a microphone too?
You got a reindeer? Hi. Hi, Olivia. Hey, Georgie. Okay, he's gonna listen to and watch. Okay.
All are so sweet. Okay, so we're gonna say our words. I actually remembered the words of miracle. Can you do the hand motions? We are
Unitarian, Universalist, with minds that think,
hearts that love, and hands ready to help. Very cool.
and hug
You're going to have to come every week
every
and remind
week
us.
and remind us.
All right.
We can't do it without you.
So I'm going to tell you a little story from my childhood today. Did you know I was once a kid?
No.
Weird, huh? I was shorter then. I'm tall for my age. So I grew up in a small town, smaller than Groton, like quite a bit smaller than Groton.
Where's the book?
Sorry, what?
We don't have a book.
We don't have a book.
You're going to
It's
imagine
a story
it in your
today.
head.
Oh, there's going to be a prompt though.
Yeah.
You know what a prompt is? Like a thing. Just you wait. So both of my parents worked at this little tiny college that was in the town that I grew up in. The college was about the size of Lawrence Academy that's right next to us. All right? And it was a Danish college. All right? And that means that it was started by people who came here from Denmark, which is a little country in the northern part of Western Europe. All right? My mother was born in Denmark. She came to this country when she was about 30 years old. That's old, right? Yeah. And she was the teacher of all the Danish classes at this college. And the college was Danish, and so that was sort of an important thing. My dad was the director of the library. So at Christmas time, every year, the whole college had a big weekend festival called Sights and Sounds of Danish Christmas. And people, hundreds of people came from all over the place. This was in the Midwest, so lots of people with Danish heritage. They came for this because it was very, very big, and we prepared for it all year long. We had food. What else would you have at a festival? Food, probably, yep. Games, yep. We made stuff like crafts. This was not my strong point, but that's okay.
Christmas carols?
Christmas carols, exactly, all in Danish, yep. Poems, stories, big tree. All right, so there was a big pageant thing where we explained everything about Danish Christmas and sang all the songs, and I was always in this. I was the kid, right? It was very big and busy. Big, busy, like Christmas is, right? Big and busy. And I loved it. Except that my very favorite part was not the big busy part. It was this ritual that happened only one time, and that was right before all the big and busy started. There's a story from Scandinavia about Santa Lucia. And there was one year where there was not enough food, and people were very hungry, and especially people who didn't have much money were very hungry. And somebody thought that they saw Santa Lucia dressed in a white robe. I should have worn my white robe today. Oh well. White robe with a red ribbon with a whole wreath crown of candles that were lit on the head.
Oh, I know those.
And yeah.
Those are kind of like crowns with candles.
Exactly. And so they thought they saw this, and they thought they saw Santa Lucia bringing food to people who needed the food. And so this became a big story in this part of the world. And every year, in lots of houses, people reenact this story. And they bring their family food. And the oldest kid, if the oldest kid is old enough, wears this crown of lit candles. And they sing this beautiful song. So I have made, you will not hear this very often, me saying I have made, this doesn't happen. I actually made, y'all, a couple of wreaths for you to try. And part of the deal with wearing this wreath, so that the ritual that I saw, which moved me so much when I was a kid, was very quiet and dark. And somebody was wearing this, right? And there was about 20 people, and they all lined up. One person with the flaming candles. And if you have the flaming candles on your head, guess how you have to stand?
Do you jump all around?
I don't jump all around. If you got fire on your head,
No.
No.
Right, we're gonna stand up straight, right?
Uh,
Keep it on, get your head up. Yeah, Finn.
If your hair gets caught on fire, just stop. Remember the number one rule when a fire starts. Stop, drop, and roll.
Sure, yeah. Wait, yeah, so if you've got the crown on your head, you're gonna move also very slowly and carefully, right? But they did this, they all moved very slowly while they were singing. And all of them had candles, but all the other lights were out. So it was beautiful. And that was my Christmas moment. That was like my joy. It was so quiet and so beautiful. Does anybody have a moment like that from your life that you think, oh, this quiet moment is so sweet? Amelia has one, yeah.
Is that real fire?
No, these are pretend. Okay, I can touch them, right? They're electric. It looks pretty good though. Yeah, that's a good question. We do have one with real fire, but we're only gonna let Abby wear it at the very end of this story.
Because she's our oldest.
Yeah. So the trick to, I think they did this in Scandinavia to teach the kids to slow down. What do you think? To learn how to stand up straight and slow down. So if anybody would like to try this on and just take a few slow steps, I'm gonna sing this song that we sang. And anybody who wants to can try it on, and Aaliyah can help
Take off
you.
your
You want to do it, Finn? Cool.
Finn wants to.
And then after I'm done singing, then Sean will keep going with the song.
So it might be a little bit pokey, but not much, okay? Take a few steps. Beautiful. You might want to hold it. Love that.
Some people are going to want to put their hand on the wreath. If you feel like it's a little tippy, just put your hand on the side.
That's so nice.
Beautiful, Finn. Anybody else want to try?
Zoe, would you like to? Okay.
He's also got hair.
And you want to walk a little?
Nu bälles Lucifer, stod på din kom. Runt om I hushållen, sängen ska tomma. Nu på Lucia hilser vårt vänner, Santa Lucia, Santa Lucia. Ihr Wölfe ska fest, sängen ska plinga, ge vår till den gäst,
Kalani, do you want to try? Zoe, do you want to try? Leo, you want to try?
Skengels av luftens fart, lia till livets kvart, Santa Lucia, Santa Lucia.
Okay, walk around very slow. It's a little pokey, a little pokey. Beth, do you want to try? Livia? Georgie? Oh, Zoe. Oh, turn around so we can. Is it a little spiky? Wonderful.
Oh, she's gonna wear a real candle?
Yes.
Wait, is he going to wear that like a long time?
So Abby is staying very still, very upright, and moving slowly. And if there's anything that can teach you to slow down, it's putting fire on your hand.
No!
It's a beautiful thing, y'all. Look for the little quiet moments of joy this season and beauty. And this is sort of dignity too, right? Yeah. Self-possession, which is why I asked Abby.
Whoa, it's like magic. It's kind of like magic.
All right, we're going to sing you all to your RE class, and we'll send you the little chalice. You're going to bring it? Oh, I think we have somebody who really wants to take it.
There you go. May your mind be open to learning. May your lips bring truth into the world. May your heart grow, may your hands do the work of justice as you go your way in peace. As you go your way in peace. Call down a blessing, call down a blessing, call down a blessing, call down. Call down a blessing, call down a blessing, call down a blessing, call down. Joy before us, joy behind us, joy within us and around us. Call down a blessing, call down a blessing, call down a blessing, call down. Health before us, health behind us, health within us and around us. Call out a blessing, call out a blessing, call out a blessing, call down. Love before us, love behind us, love within us and around us. Call out a blessing, call out a blessing, call out a blessing, call down. Peace before us, peace behind us, peace within us and around us. Call down a blessing, call down a blessing, call down a blessing, call down. Call down a blessing, call down a blessing, call down a blessing, call down.
Thank you, Jan. Thank you, Sean. So we'll begin the words of our spoken prayer with Brian Doyle. This is what I know, that the small is huge, that the tiny is vast, that pain is part and parcel of the gift of joy, and that this is love, and then there's everything else. So in the name of all that calls us forth into being, God of many names, many understandings, one embracing love, we gather to make this place and this time holy. And gathered, we pray for Dara, Elle, and Sue Gleason, following Dara's husband Doug's death yesterday morning at age 60. And gathered, we pray for Gail and Steve, for Cleo's spouse, Jerry, for Carol's granddaughter, Sophie, for Ellen's granddaughter, Molly, and spouse, Chris, and Ellen, as she holds their care. We hold in tender prayer all who are grieving this year. and all who are gathered side by side and across time and space virtually. All who both love and struggle with these December holidays. And how these holidays can manage sometimes to demand more of our time, emotions, and finances than we have to offer. Gathered, beloved, we make this space holy. And so gathered, we hold all the challenges of grief and pain right alongside our small, tender joys, wherever we find them. The small joy of the first sip of hot coffee from our favorite cup. The particular way a loved one moves as they snuggle into a comfortable sleeping position. The wonder in a child's eyes. The delight of looking down and seeing our favorite shoes on our feet, maybe especially if they're red boots. And all the quirky little ways we find to delight in our own being, to delight in our loved ones, in the more than human world around us, in our life, even as it throws curveballs. So let's rest a while, beloveds, and breathe the love that holds us all in tenderness. And so, amen.
Our generosity sustains this congregation and allows us to deepen spiritually, to take care of each other, and to be a blessing to this world. We can't make church without all of us. There is a QR code on the back page of your order of service if you would like to donate through PayPal. The morning offering will now be given and gratefully received.
this is what I know. The small is huge, the tiny is vast. Pain is part and parcel of the gift of joy. This is love. And then there is everything else. So today is the third Sunday of Advent. It is the Sunday for joy. As of Friday, I have been 1 month without coffee, chocolate, and wine on my doctor's instructions, so I am in no position to talk to you about joy today. Frankly, I would prefer to reschedule. But I felt that way the last 2 years of COVID Christmas, too. And that was, of course, a far more serious hardship. And I have been around this block enough times to know that joy does not keep a schedule. I also know that when joy arrives, the best thing we can do is open the door, even if the timing is inconvenient. And maybe even more important than welcoming joy is recognizing it when it arrives. I believe we miss a lot of joy because it doesn't look or feel or sound like what we thought it would, so that when joy shows up, we don't even know it is there. Or we greet it at the door with a kind of bewildered dismay. Oh, are you Joy? I thought you would be a little taller. But as the poet Thomas Centinella reminds us, joy is simple, unassuming. Red tulips on their green stems, vegetables bright in the pan, the primary colors of a child's painting, the first lessons all over again. Joy is so often smaller and quicker than we imagine, and it comes in moments, it comes in droplets, not waves, and then it is gone. But it is far more common than a lot of us realize, and it doesn't need anything other than our attention to show up. As Kate Bowler writes, practicing joy is an exercise of attention. If we go looking for it, if we are open to it in whatever form it comes, if we are paying attention, joy will find us. Our job is just to believe in it, and then to recognize it when it does come. Our job is to call it by its name, to savor it, even as we know we cannot make it stay. Another thing I know about joy is this: we do not need to be happy in order to feel joy. It sounds paradoxical, but joy is about being open, not happy. And it often comes right in the midst of sorrow or grief, in the midst of upheavals and crisis, because that is when we are the most open, broken open. And joy needs that opening. It needs some softness, some space in order to show itself. As Jan Richardson puts it, opening to joy means being willing to let the world enter us. Opening to joy means being willing to let the world enter us. Just this week, someone was telling me how in the midst of their grief for the death of a beloved, they have experienced these unexpected, completely surprising moments of joy. They said that life somehow feels deeper and more precious than it did before. My colleague Erica Hewitt writes, love will show itself again and again. And she also believes in being what she calls a spy on the ground for love, keeping watch for it. Now I think the same is true of joy. Joy will show itself again and again if we are willing to pay attention, to keep our senses open for the sights and sounds and tastes and smell, the feel of joy. Last year at this time, Lee asked you to share your wisdom about joy, to tell us a little bit about what you know about it, where you find it and how you feel it. You know a lot about joy. And I want to remind you of some of the things you said. The exact sentence, "My joy is this community," appeared more than any other single sentence on the cards Lee asked you to write, which, needless to say, brings this minister more joy than I have words for. Many of you said you find joy in being with the ones you love, in those strong and sturdy threads that tie us to one another. You wrote about infectious joy, finding joy in other people's smiles and deep belly laughs and hugs and warmth, in good company and good food, in memories and gratitude. And as one person put it, in having the ability to be the good thing that happens to another person. You wrote about finding joy in nature, which did not surprise us, in healthy trees and forests, in moss-covered logs and lichen, and hemlocks and willow stands reflected on a pond, in the breathtaking blooming of a single flower. You find joy in the particular details of the world, in sunrise and sunset and sunshine on water and wetlands and waves crashing and wind through trees and the song of the tiny Carolina wren. You find joy in gardening. Someone wrote about the joy of watching geese do ballet on your lawn. You find joy in your pets, of course, in the way your dog greets you when you return home, in the purr of the cat, in a new puppy who finds joy in everything. And you find joy in children, in their smiles, their exuberance, the sound of their laughter. As one of you wrote, children are where pure joy lives. Music and dance and poetry bring many of us joy, including hearing a loved one sing. One person wrote they find joy in finding the exact right poem at the exact right moment. You find joy through your senses, the feel of a warm bed, the taste and smell of coffee. That wasn't me, by the way. The sight of clouds drifting by. And here is what Lee and I noticed. None of these things are complicated. Joy finds you in the woods, in baking the same kind of cookies your grandmother made. Joy finds you while you watch your grandchildren sleep or your dog run across a field, or when you smell something you love cooking. This is a really good time to be a spy on the ground for joy. I went looking for it again this week, and I found it. I found it in the blooming cyclamen in my living room, which does not give up no matter what I do or don't do to it. There are 8 hot pink flowers on it right now, and one more still tightly furled, waiting for its time. The cyclamen reminds me of Alan's mother, Natalie, who also had them. I never met Natalie on this earth, but I feel very connected to her nonetheless, and that brings me joy too. I find joy in practicing violin, though perhaps Alan does not find the same joy in my practice. But for at least a moment, when the bow resonates on the string instead of squawking, and for a few seconds at a time, I feel this kind of ease in holding the bow instead of this awkward claw that it usually feels like. My teacher told me, don't give up. And I answered, no, you don't understand. This is play for me. When I left my lesson last Monday, the sun was setting behind Groton Hill Music Center. The whole sky was lit up with layers of orange and purple, and that was joy too. I found joy in the music of the service of lessons and carols at Groton School on Friday night, in the soaring young voices of the choir. But this year I got to sit really close up front in what they call the clergy stalls, which made me laugh because of course it reminded me of cows. But my joy this year was in the faces of the teenagers, in the way they concentrated so hard on their music, and how at one point one of the tenors started swaying during a carol, which got a few others to start swaying, and then it grew and grew until about half or more of the choir was swaying, and the choir master just raised his eyebrows before things got a little too rowdy. I had a long drive and a long, hard, beautiful hospital visit this week. And before I went, one of you gave me little packets of nuts for the journey, and enough to share with Lee, who met me there. And then I came home to my beloved, who was waiting with a pot of soup on the stove. And there was joy. Joy comes. It comes in the midst of sorrow and devastation even. It comes when we are ready and when we are not ready. And maybe joy doesn't even come at all, but is always there, waiting to be noticed and recognized and named. So be joy spies on the ground this week. Tell us what you find. So our closing hymn is Life Calls Us On. It is on the insert in your order of service, and Sean and Jan will lead us. Please stand as you are able. side of the other. Reach out to one another. Know that we are connected. We are woven together by strong and sturdy threads of love.
Go in peace, be a blessing, and what is it, stealth agent? No, spy. A spy for joy in this world.
Thank you.